Good morning. Welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I'm so glad you're here. Today's date is Monday, September 19th, 2022. And yes, I'm still on location in Caribou, Maine, still with kind of issues with my internet connection here. So I may end up doing some filming later this week in a pretty empty apartment because it's supposed to have wonderful internet, so we may have to test it out. There won't be much in the background, but we'll possibly go that route. I wanted you to go down a rabbit trail with me today. I hope you don't mind. Usually you guys are up for that. I'll go with you. It's a Mr. T rabbit trail. There are so many Mr. T rabbit trails we can take. But with this one, I wanted to share. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Recently at Mr. T's rallies, people have been noticing that there is a flag in the background with blacked out stars. This is from his, I believe, his rally in Ohio. I feel embarrassed to say, apparently this was also the case in the Anchorage rally, and I was there, but I was sitting behind him, so I saw him walk out, but not his backdrop. So that's how I'm explaining it, because I saw him. I didn't see his the backdrop. But still, in multiple rallies, then he's got a history of having this flag as a backdrop. And I did a little checking to see what that might possibly mean. I came up with a couple of really beautiful possibilities, and I think we're going to ask the tarot cards about it. One possibility is that it signifies that someone will not bow down. And frequently in Mr. T's rallies, he talks about we will not back down, we will not give in, we will not give up, we will not fail. But bow down definitely is a phrase that's frequently used, which is why we're going on this rabbit trail. Also, it is also a symbol of people who want to show that they stand firm in their beliefs and will not back down, whatever those beliefs are. Okay, so it is shown to an enemy that they're not taking prisoners, and it also symbolizes that you're standing firm in your beliefs. So, what I wanted to ask the cards today was this flag, this black starred flag that keeps showing up at Mr. T's rallies. So now we know he talks in code. Okay. He does symbolism, and he even gives messages through the music he chooses for the rallies. That's why I said there are so many reading possibilities just with his rallies, because there's really a lot of layered information in them if people just take the time to find out. I know when I did the one about a previous code, someone said, how does one learn these things? And I thought, well, stick with me, honey. I'll help you with a little of it, but then you have to be willing to do some of your own reading and thinking for yourself, which we've all been dumbed down for generations not to do, to listen to voices of authority and believe that that is the sum of the information that you need and that's available to you. And that's not true, is it? So we're going to ask the cards. The black flag that keeps showing up in Mr. T's rallies, is it a symbol to the deep state? And is it a coded message, as I think it is? And is there other information the universe wants us to know? I'll let you watch me finish shuffling the cards. We'll see what they have to say. Okay, are these coded messages to us, to the enemy? And is there other information the universe wants us to know? I see my internet connection is going very, very slow. So I will try to slow down so you don't think there's any sleight of hand going on here. Not that I'm good enough with the card shuffling that I could do that if I wanted to, and I don't. I feel like any small gift I've got from our loving Creator has to be honored or it's lost. Okay, so our first card was the Three of Wands. Then we have the Nine of Swords, Knight of Cups, Page of Swords, Five of Cups, Knight of Wands, and Four of Cups. Okay, our question is symbolized by the Three of Wands, which is about looking to the future and looking at things with new perceptions and acuity. Now, it's also aspected or clarified a little more by the Nine of Swords, which the main meaning for this card is there's not as much to worry about as we think. So what we're getting told is, I'm not getting a hard yes at this point that is the symbolism is correct on this, but we are being told that things are well in hand. Now I say that because the Knight of Cups shows up as the recent past. Now the Knight of Cups is tricky. And certainly when you have opponents that have had generations to hone their skills, you have to have some of the same abilities yourself. So the signaling involved with this is saying, number one, two can play this game. And you're not going to be bringing me a game I can't deal with. I say that because the present card is the Page of Swords, which is one of truth, a card of truth and perception. So he's very perceptive. He's saying, I've got tricks up my sleeve too. Symbolism is going to be your downfall. I can do some symbolism as well. If you like it so much, here's some. Okay. And then in the near future, we have the Five of Cups, which is a card showing some loss and sorrow. And there are some losses that we have sustained because of the length of time that it's taken to bring all the White Hat and Alliance plans into fruition. But I think more than this, we're seeing that there's going to be some sadness on the part of the deep state. Now, I say that because the Knight of Wands is one of my White Hat cards, and he's showing up here, and he is one of cautious optimism. Okay, so we need to be optimistic that the plan is unfolding in a very successful way. We also need to know that there's information that's not readily available, but it could be if we widen our perspectives and look around. So what we're getting here is that there is much more symbolism that we could be finding in those rallies if we took the time to look with an open heart and open mind. Now let's see if we can get some more clarification from the cards about, is the symbolism of that black starred flag headed to the deep state to let them know we won't back down, and to us to know that we've got it. We got an Ace of Cups showing up here. Ace of Cups is a very hard yes, even though it showed up later in the reading. It's saying yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Wow. Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune's always changing, always. The speed it goes may vary, but it means that fortunes are changing. And think about it. We still have remnants of evil that are in positions of authority in our world. We have an MSM that seems to be only very slightly giving out messages that are White Hat oriented now. So I do think there's some infiltration there. I think there's some, but I also think that they're not showing the extent to which they could use those messages. But the Wheel of Fortune means times are changing. Sadness here. We got an Ace of Cups for yes. He's messaging. Okay. Sadness, because a Wheel of Fortune is turning for those guys. It definitely is. The Moon card means passages, and it often indicates death. I hope that's death to the deep state. Whoa, then we got the Devil card. Devil card coming up as it does right next to the Moon card. Yeah, guys, we are in the home stretch. We are. So, home stretch, death to the deep state. Yay. All right. Now, I don't give out dates. Okay. I don't want you to ever say, she said 2 weeks. I will never give out a date because I'm smart enough and you're smart enough to know that the universe doesn't recognize time like we do. So, where we think we've been waiting for a long time, the universe, it's a blink. Okay. Where we mourn the losses of those that have had reactions, consequences like that, the universe says, but the main part of them, their soul was eternal. Their passage isn't as big a deal as you want to make it out to be. But we are in some big weeks here. We're down with these kind of major cards showing up about this situation when we're asking about the deep state and changes. Today is the Queen's funeral. There's lots of things coming up. A big corona mass ejection is expected or predicted for later this month. Now, we get those all the time. So don't panic and, head to the bomb shelters. But with a big one, the electronic infrastructure could be impacted. So just lots going on. Stock markets being propped up artificially. So at some point that may fall. The incorporated United States is a thing of the past. I think the restored constitutional republic is a true fact that needs to go public really soon. I think things are happening. I really do. In the meantime, thank you for going down this rabbit trail with me. Okay. And let's keep our spirits high, look to the future, expect positive things, because that helps make them happen. That's called manifesting. We've got that. And in the meantime, for those of you interested in learning more about some of the codes and the hidden messages that we see sometimes with Mr. T, when I have some to share, I'll be happy to do so. But you're welcome to do it on your own, do a little reading and find out, even though it's hard to get to that information. By the way, let me show you where I found that one, that 2 sites, okay? I'm going back to share screen, 1 second. Okay, so this information about the Black American flag, because they have one actually for sale that is completely black, and that's the symbolism behind it, is at boundbyhonor.net. And then I simply went to ussanews.com to get a picture with the black starred flag in the background. So even though it's not easy to find, information is out there. And we know in our hearts that our path is headed into a much lighter, better place where humanity's back on the path that was meant for us at creation. And it can't happen too soon for me. I'm sure many of you feel the same way. So that's it for this read. The Black Star Rabbit Hole. Thank you for joining me. Your time is precious, and I do appreciate that you choose to spend a little of it with me, and I get to spend some with you, and it's definitely a win-win as far as I'm concerned. So until next time, I send you love and light.